Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and this is going to be on a new EDC piece of gear that I picked up. This is the DoohicKey by Nite Ize. Now, a lot of us know Nite Ize from their S-Beaners, and I'll show you my keys right here. I actually have two of those. I have this larger size one, which I use to attach my keys to either a belt loop or a pack. And then I have this smaller one, which is actually holding my Swiss Army Knife Classic onto my keys. This right here is actually a keychain tool, and what it does is it incorporates a couple of different features into this tool that goes right on your keychain. Now, obviously, it's a play on words with the doohickey, which the key portion is KEY, to kind of mean that it would go on your keys. Now, what this does is it incorporates a couple different features that you might use on your daily life into a small little form factor that can go either on your keys or on a pack, or just attached to pretty much anything, because it does have this carabiner. Now, it's got a couple different features. I'll go through them and just so you guys can see what it's all about. First one is going to be, it's got a small ruler right here, about 2 inches. It has different sets of wrenches right in the inside right there. Obviously, the carabiner clip does have the bottle opener right there. The portion down here is actually almost like they tried to sharpen it down to make it into what they call a box cutter. It's not really sharp, but as you guys can see from the finish, it's a little bit different finish on there. So it's, instead of using your keys, or if you don't want to gum up your knife, you can just use that portion to open up a box. And then on the bottom, it's obviously a screwdriver. Now, this is obviously more of a gimmick tool. I myself do not foresee using the majority of the tools that are on here, with the exception of obviously the carabiner to clip it onto something, the bottle opener, it's basically what it is about, and then the box cutter, which I definitely would see myself using that, because it's a lot easier to reach for something like this than it is to damage your keys or gum up your knife, like I mentioned before. Now, the screwdriver portion, obviously it's a fairly large screwdriver, so this would be more of a tool to scrape or maybe pry or something like that, again, to kind of safeguard the tip of your knife or your keys or anything like that. So let me go ahead and get this out of the packaging, and having the Swiss Army Knife Classic here actually comes in handy. I'll snip those two little plastic ties, put that off to the side, and I did want to show you guys the back of the packaging here. It almost they make it seem like that's actually the the two biggest tools on this, because they do have the bottle opener and the box cutter showcased right on the back there. So again, I think for the most part, the majority of people that would pick this up would be using it for those particular purposes. It's pretty nice. It's very thin, so it's not going to occupy a lot of room on your keys. Now, the other option would be if you wanted to carry this on its own, again, clipping it to a pack or something like that, or maybe throwing a small little paracord lanyard on there and just having it as a separate tool. You could definitely just drop it into your pocket and you're ready to go. Like I said, this bottom portion right here is what you would be using as a box cutter, so you just put your finger back there to give it a little bit more leverage and push, and then just kind of open up the boxes like that. You could actually sharpen this a little bit more to make it obviously sharper. So if you wanted to use it for other things, like push cutting or something like that, you could use that. But as it comes from the factory, I think it's pretty well. So the ruler itself in the back, you do have some millimeter settings as well, and then, or markings I should say, and then inch markings on the front. But again, I don't foresee pretty much the majority of people using that for anything specific, unless you had to use it for like your job or something like that. So let me throw it on my keys right here so you guys can see what it looks like. So obviously, very thin, like I mentioned, it pretty much disappears into the keys, and especially if you have, a nice tight little package like I do here for the keys, if I were to drop this into my pants, it's not gonna, protrude too much or occupy too much room where it's going to become cumbersome. So it's pretty nice. Again, this is the DoohicKey by Nite Ize. It's a cool little tool to have around, but like I mentioned, it's more of an impulse buy. It's not something that you desperately need. But if you wanted something, if you're opening up a lot of boxes, or a lot of cans or bottles or something like that, then you're good to go with that. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.